Well, welcome everyone. It's Thursday evening. Oh, it is February 1st. Can you believe we are already through a whole month of 2018? Crazy. Hope everyone got to see the amazing moon last night. I know it's still going on a little bit tonight. I hope you guys have been able to see it the last couple of nights. It's been incredible. So this is JoJo Bennington, and I just want to welcome you all here to our 30-minute check-in every week to chat about girl stuff and to really have a talk about what's going on in the girls' lives. And so we have a guy joining us tonight. So he's sitting in with us. It's good. This is 2 weeks in a row. Maybe we're, the word's getting out and they want to be a part. It's good. We like it. So I don't know if did anybody see my cute little video that I posted up? Because we're going to talk about bone density. Did you see the video I posted? Do you remember in Back to the Future and George McFly walks into the restaurant and he says to his love, "I'm your density," instead of saying destiny. Anyway, got to go watch the video. It's kind of cute. And so we are, we don't think a lot about our bones sometimes, but as we're aging and we realize that, we probably should pay attention to things like that. It's time to have some talks about fitness and bone density and health in that way. And so Miss Lidy Flom, my lovely partner over there, is gonna take over tonight, and she has a special guest she's inviting on. So how exciting! And so Lidy's our other resident nutritionist around here and speaker and all around knows everything about the inside of the body and how it's functioning. And so whenever we can pick her brain and have her spill her knowledge on us, we love it. So Miss Lidy, beautiful, I'm going to hand things over to you and let you take over.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, all you women and gents. It is always a delight to be on this call with you. And might I just share with you this evening, I see that Joyce actually strained her back. And she said she's got a little bit of medication going on. So she said, I can call in. So she's going to call in. So I think that we might just have Joyce on a call in. So first of all, if you can just kind of keep an eye open for, let's just look at a phone number here at 678. So
Joyce, is that you?
678.
Hey, Lidy, yes it is.
Ah, there you go.
All right, good. Thank you, JoJo. Wonderful. Well, so I have the great privilege to actually partner this call this evening with Joyce Bell. And Joyce Bell is an LPN. I think I put it out there like an RN. She actually has just like an amazing background also, kind of like in the medical field and understanding that how everything impacts everything. Like how we do anything is how we do everything, right? So how it is that we live our life, for what we do today for might be bone density, actually impacts our muscle. And our body composition is a result of our muscle density and our bone density, and they all play as one partner. So I know that for women in particular, I like to sometimes ask this question. So Joyce is actually going to be talking about some of the fitness part of the importance of how we exercise, the importance of weight bearing, exercise, how all of that plays into this whole conversation this evening. So let's talk about bone density. Bone density sometimes has a name. It's called osteoarthritis, or sometimes an arthritic condition, but it has something to do with what's going on with bone density. Well, let's just talk about where the bones are. You have bones in your jaw. So if your bones are weak and they become porous means that they're not dense and they're like going to be structurally sound, that they become more fragile. And so the more porous they are, the more fragile they become. So if you have that's called bone density issues, sometimes we think it has to do with our body composition, like, being able to stand up straight. putting your shoulders back, having your body be able to have communication, all is impacted by the fact that we have issue with bone density. So because of, we say, well, when did that really begin? And science knows that actually when women start their menses cycle, they say now, typically around 18, or they say 15, and I know our daughter had it when she was 13. So I say, well, whenever that point in life starts, that's kind of when this whole bone density conversation begins, because of the hormonal changes. And then, through different phases of life, we actually might have, pregnancy, birth. As a result of that, it could be nursing. I mean, there's lots of different needs for minerals. So the bone density is a direct impact based on the amount of minerals in your bones. So how do the bones become dense? Actually, the minerals come from our food sources. They come from the soil. So the soil is having to have the mineral uptake. So I want to take it back a little further tonight when it comes to really what is our greatest resource. So it comes from our plants, and our plant sources actually take on through the root system minerals. And alfalfa is one of the major, they call it, I think that they call it the king of minerals. The alfalfa plant is such an amazing plant because it goes 8 feet into the soil. It's not a surface root system. It's a very in-depth root system. And it has nodules on it, and, nitrogen and, nodules, and they all pick up elements from the soil. But how the plant picks up minerals has a direct impact based on the microorganisms in the soil. So the microorganisms literally break down the mineral. Let's call it a rock for the moment. And it's broken down. And I just sometimes think about, as a child, I remember seeing when the rain would come, and then all of a sudden we would have all these worms and little piles of, dirt that were okay, all these worms are taking on these minerals, and it went in one way and came out another way. Well, we could call that part of the microorganism process. It actually was breaking that down so that the plant source, and the more worms that we had that were earthworms that were in the soil, the richer that soil was. And how they measure that was by the weight of the let's call it the corn, the soybeans, the crop. And so the heavier the content of that so-called crop, the higher it was in minerals. Now, let's take that down the road a little bit further. So that there were furnaces. There's furnaces actually that are corn burning furnaces. Well, I happened to meet the man that was actually the inventor of the corn burning furnace. And I saw on his, it was his office. It was actually his office. And then he had a conference room. And he had these little baby food jars. And he had them labeled. And I said to him, what is that about? He said, well, here's what this is about. He said, we buy corn and we are looking for the most dense mineral content, because the higher the mineral content, the hotter it burns and the longer the value. So we're looking for, the high mineral content in terms of farmers around here. We'll buy from those farmers. Well, here's what's going on. Over the course of the years, when a lot of chemicals were applied to the soil that killed the microorganisms no longer could break down the mineral content. So the food that we're eating that is lacking the minerals. So, and the minerals actually are the driver. They are like a hammer. They drive in the vitamins. And so they're boss. I mean, I say, if you're gonna go build a house and you're thinking about the body being like a body composition structure, and you're gonna build it, how can you build? You can have 2x4s and you can have nails, but if you don't have a hammer, and as I was teaching in a school one day, one child said, yeah, I would just go pick up a rock. That would work. And I thought, brilliant. I said, you're right. When it comes to, driving a vitamin or a nail, you have to have the mineral. and minerals are the rocks. So they have to be broken down. They have to be small. They have to be angstrom. We're talking about, content that it has to be small enough to cross the cell membrane. So what's that size? It's a measurement, and we know that each mineral has a different shape, and those minerals have to cross that cell membrane. If it's not deliverable, then the body just takes on these vitamins and minerals, and what a lot of people call that, a waste of your money, and it's called expensive urine. Well, I'm going to say I somewhat agree with them. I know that there's a lot of product in the marketplace that really is a waste of money. And I think that sometimes, we've had friends along the way. I happen to work for a municipality, and working with the water department, and I would ask questions about, like, what do you find in that water department? And we've had tours and things, and all of a sudden they say, oh yeah, there's vitamins, there's medication that floats. I mean, it still has the label on it. You mean you can fish this stuff, skim this stuff off, and it's literally got the label on it. So we know it certainly is passing right through the body. So sometimes, getting to this point of understanding the importance of this, if you're, just think about your jawline. If the bones are porous, your teeth will be loose. You can't even keep your teeth in your mouth. So everything impacts everything. So I think that, tonight when we're talking about bone density, you could be a very thin person, and people that are thin actually have more concern than somebody that might not be as thin. And so it's frailty, and bones begin to fracture. And in an arthritic condition, let's call it osteoarthritis, or you can call it any type of arthritic condition, is that there is a membrane that's eaten away, first of all, and then the bone is called bone on bone. And, I have to say, be careful with that bone on bone conversation, only because how do you really know? So sometimes they, can take x-ray and they can actually see it. And I'm sure Joyce will talk a little bit about this. But to know that there's memory on the DNA, science knows way more today than they ever knew in the past. But knowing that the body can actually restructure itself. So I had a mom that had lots of health challenges, not to mention, she nursed 11 babies. And we lived on a farm, and we had a cow, we milked a cow. So we had raw milk. And, it wasn't pasteurized, homogenized. So if you think you're getting your calcium from your milk or dairy product, it has to be dehydrated, not heated and pasteurized and homogenized. So we got, those impact the ability to actually have us receive the calcium uptake and magnesium and phosphorus and boron. The soil was very rich in boron. And, we start to take a look at molybdenum. Molybdenum is another one. So these are drivers for our bone density and to kill yeast in our body. So, but our soil's depleted. So we have all these minerals that we're kind of lacking. And as a result of that, porous bones start to take place. Now, I just thought this evening, if I could actually show you an x-ray that I had as a result of my having some dental work, and it was pretty interesting. Let's just say I had a wisdom teeth that was taken out. Now, I don't know how this is going to be actually seen, but can you see the holes? Can you see like some porous, bone? It's right in this area right here. See how porous that bone is? I don't know if you can see that. So I'm just going to get a little bit closer so you can see it. And then you see in the bottom part where it's like really not as porous, like right in here. Okay. Well, I started taking some products that kind of help restore from the core. And I had some issue going on. This is a wisdom tooth. And they said, you've got some problem here because this is like, you've got a pocket. This is a bad pocket here. And they told me some time ago that I am susceptible to having so-called bad news one day. And So I just don't want to even say it. I said, I don't want to even accept that, but I will tell you, I'm going to be responsible. So I started putting some, like, I would literally take the nutrients and I would open up a capsule and I would squeeze it in my jawline and I would let it sit there so that it could actually feed the body, feed the source. And when I would have like, you know, teeth that I thought, you know, maybe there's some receding going on, I would literally put it in my jaw and I would like pack it in there and leave it there at night. And I'm going to say this to you, if I don't have an eyewitness of what happened in the last 5 years, that's what happened. So my bone density is changing. So says the doctor. There's something you're doing that must be different. Sometimes you'll notice that fingernails, brittle fingernails, can be a calcium deficiency. It can be receding gum line. It can be heart palpitations. I mean, you can have Charlie horse, and these are signs of mineral deficiencies before you see a bone density issue. So don't ignore the symptoms, and knowing that you need stretch and reflex, that's calcium and magnesium. That's what your heart is. Your muscles need that. And so I really feel like I just want to hand it over right now to Joyce. And Joyce, I know you've got so many things to share when it comes to how, when we exercise, how our body's able to take that on and just actually work in harmony. Joyce, thank you for being on. I just know that you've had an amazing journey. So share something about yourself maybe first, and then give us your insights.
Well, hey, Lidy, thank you for, yes, thank you for having me on. I was telling you that earlier, I kind of pulled a muscle in my back. And so I was using a lot of the products that we had, and then I had to get some extra aid. And we're talking about the body being able to recover because it has all the nutrients that it needs. I'm a licensed practical nurse, and I've been nursing for 17 years. My specialty is electrophysiology, and I work for a local clinic. Here we have 5 clinics, and we take care of the low-income and elderly patients. So I have that opportunity. And of course, for most of my ISA peeps, I am your 2017 ISA Body finalist. Yippee! Because I believe that I've shown where my body has definitely restored itself from the core. I've been able to avoid having heart surgery. I was told at age of 40 that it was necessary, and I refused, but had the opportunity to put the Isogenics products in my system. Once I began doing the research of exactly how it worked, there's some favorites of mine that helped me to restore my system. And those are 1, the Cleanse for Life, 2, the Product B, and 3, the Amp Knox. Now that the Nitro is on board, there's a love-hate between the Nitro and the Knox, but I totally love the Knox for the reasons that it is. And as Lidy was saying, when we want to move into becoming a healthier person or restoring our bodies, that we definitely want to make sure that we put the right things in so that we can accomplish those. And so when I started working out and exercising and understanding that I needed to really support my system, it made a lot of sense. Lidy, if you would like to ask me specific questions, you can. Other than that, I will just run through my whole story.
Yes. So Joyce, you know, thank you for actually, first of all, being on. And I know just by the picture that we're seeing is that you are very much into physical fitness and exercise. And I would like to have you talk a little bit about like the importance of maybe like weight bearing exercise versus like, you know, cardio, when it is we're talking about bone density and, you know, how it is that we can build muscle and have restoration. So can you just talk a little bit about like maybe some exercises that can be done and what, and the importance of that and what types? So thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Not a problem. When teaching exercising, and I like to just go back to the very basics. And when I say the very basics, anyone at any age and stage can do them. So we're talking about some simple things like jumping jacks, and that will, of course, get your heart rate up and improve your breathing. Sometimes we don't even take deep breaths. And the air and oxygen that we breathe in actually helps to increase our blood flow and the oxygen flow to our cells, the same cells that we need to be whole, that are going to provide our bodies what we need. So a simple thing like jumping jacks. Now people say, well, I can't jump. So then it's a matter of just simply extending the legs out at each side. So it's like a walk out instead of a jump out. There's modification for every exercise. If someone is wheelchair bound, they would sit in the chair and they would do the same motion with their hands. If you can't do the full exercise, you do half. You do what you can. If you're laying in the bed and you can sit up and do the same motions for a jumping jack, that would be for your cardio, or you could pretend to jump rope. It would be the same way as if you're holding a rope in your hand. You want to increase that first thing in the morning, sometimes in the evening, and depending on what your workout or exercise regimen, it can happen anytime during the day. The suggestion is always to make sure that you're hydrated so that you're getting enough fluid and enough protein to support whatever you're exercising. Another one, very, very good for the body, the chest, the arms, the biceps, the triceps, is your plank. Your abs, your whole body is at work. Getting into a plank position. I recently just did a challenge for 5 1-minute planks with a couple of our partners. And when I tell you, it took my body into a whole nother, like, wait a minute, I hadn't planked in so long. And it woke up and fired a lot of systems, which is probably why I'm having some muscle discomfort right now. But that's a good exercise to begin with. You're going to look at your timing. How long are you holding that position for? And so you're working on building strength, building muscle. Muscles need the protein for them to grow. And as much as you use them will be as much as they begin to grow. When people begin to enhance their muscles, then you're going to add a specific diet and a specific regimen in order to grow it. But lifting weights and heavy weight always is going to help your body to gain the muscle that you need. And then when the muscles are on your body, it's easier to burn fat. So
thank you. You know, Joyce, I know that what you're talking about is important, and as being an athlete, you know, so many athletes have talked about and know the importance of creatine. Well, here's new research, everyone. This is exciting news. Creatine is now linked to bone density. And when you look at the word creatine, I mean, every athlete knows the importance of creatine, but you wonder why, like, athletes have stronger bones. And they're, you know, they're very open to, like, taking on creatine. So I'm looking at a new research that has been done, and it says athletes have used creatine as an extra competitive edge, but now they're finding that bone health, and in particular for women past menopause, especially, that are vulnerable to weakening of bones, that can lead to higher risk of fractures, frailty, and loss of function of everyday activities, can benefit from creatine. And even for their exercise. And so there's a lot of research that's being done right now, and age-related diseases of bone mineral density, so that they will be less prone to fractures and degeneration. That's exciting news. So
yes, it is.
you're looking for something. Yeah, go ahead, Joyce.
No, I was saying that it totally is, and that's actually what research is about. There would be at one time period that, you know, it is not profitable, or maybe it's just not worth it to have that information out. But then this is the time that we actually need it, you know, with nutrition that's out there that's, you know, not good for our bodies. We need every supplement or every, you know, good tidbit, you know, for our bodies to be able to perform the way we want them to.
Absolutely. It talks about even, creatine can help with our ability to endure a longer workout. And if that means longer workout and we're, breaking the body down during the workout, and after that is when our body starts to store it again. So, but there's the ability, there's something that happens during, a workout, and then going back and to restore that is that the body opens up pathways. You have different movement, right? And just a little bit of weight resistance can make a difference. Even if it is that somebody doesn't have the cellulitis or that, little mini trampoline, really valuable for just a simple exercise. Just get the bouncing going on. Just gets that bouncing. Even if they can sit on it, they can bounce on it, and changes everything. So it changes balance, everything. So looking at that whole mineral conversation, it allows the mineral to do the work, and it provides even a little piggyback escort across the cell membrane. Those minerals want to do the work. So Jojo, I don't know how much time we have left.
We have 2 minutes left. We're at time, but that was so we could you could have one last word or give Joyce one last word to go tonight. And thank you so much, Joyce, for hopping on with us. And
oh, that is so. I'm so glad that you guys, value that I could come and chat with you guys. I think it's the most fun, and I totally want to just see, everybody succeed with regard to their health.
Thank you, Joyce. And I know, because I've been working with you, is that a lot of people really don't know what to do when they come with their exercise. So I've asked Joyce, so we're kind of putting something together with Joyce that she would be open to Zooming in. And I don't know exactly how you're going to do that, Joyce, but she's going to be open to coaching people through an exercise. And if it means that somehow they have weight loss goals, or they have fitness goals, they have muscle density, bone density goals, however that is, exercise is part of that equation. So that's Joyce's background, and we're trying to create a way so that you can dial into Joyce. I said, we know to go to the gym is costly, and so if you can do it from home, and she's going to coach. We looked at, maybe just a nominal fee that everybody could just dial in and feel good about what's going on, and that they could have their own, personal victories. So Joyce, I'm glad that you're open to that. And we'll maybe have some news for maybe a week or two from now to know how to make that connection if anybody's interested.
Yes, and I'm totally excited about being able to partner with that. It's so much fun. You should not be afraid of it. You've got exercises, you got ideas of exercises. We laugh through a whole lot of them. So it's just, it's really just simple ways to really begin embracing the healthy lifestyle, which is with regards to exercise.
Awesome. Thank you, Joyce. I appreciate you. Jojo, thank you for just being this host and making this call available for women and men that care about women.
Awesome. You're so welcome. Okay, everyone, we just really great. And to remember to go back and look at the minerals and look at our soil, and we overlook that sometimes. And so there's a really great documentary if anybody ever wants to learn more about dirt. It's actually called Dirt. So go back and find that, and that'll really help you understand the mineral conversation a little bit more. And thank you, Joyce, and thank you, Lidy. And so for any of you who haven't joined the Empowering Healthy Women Facebook page, you can join there, and there's always a new event that's posted every week. And anyway, we're here every Thursday, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. So same bat time, same bat channel next week, and looking forward to seeing all of you again next week. Thank you so much for sharing all of the calls, and for all of the new people that are popping in. And the community is growing, and we're really excited to be able to just share all the amazing people that we have access to, and all the great knowledge that comes our way with, to be able to share that with everybody. It's not just for us. We want everyone to have access to these amazing people and amazing information. So thank you all so much. Lidy, love you. Thank you so much, Joyce. And big kisses to everybody. Mwah.
Mwah. Love you.
Have an amazing week, everyone.